Every 2 years, most of us head off to our mobile phone provider and we get ourselves our new device. And for many of us in the room, what that means is you get home, you open the box, and you begin to break out in a cold sweat as you look for the manual, and you can't find the manual to set the freaking thing up. And so you start freaking out. But what do? You get hold of the tamest 10-year-old you know, and you say, "Please, my boy," or "Please, my girl, help." And then your child comes along and picks up your phone and sits down in the corner of the room and, cool as a cucumber, takes a few minutes, sets your phone up and hands it back to you and says, "Here you go, Dad. It's all working now." And you go, "Thanks, my boy," and pat them on the head and move on. And when you're in your office, you get a new laptop, or there's new technology that's rolled out in your work environment, and again, the same thing happens. You break out in a cold sweat. How do I use this stuff? And so you frantically scroll through your address list or your address book, or you get hold of your PA and say, "Find me a 20-year-old and get them to come and tell me how to use this stuff." And you've nicely worded email, you send off to the 20-year-old, but basically what you're doing is you're screaming out, "Help!" Because we live in a world that is no longer analog. We live in a world that is digital. And for many of us, we've grown up in a world where we have seen this digital technology rolled out, but we weren't born into a world where digital technology was just normal. And the digital natives are a generation of young men and women who have grown up in a world where digital is normal. They haven't had to learn anything. They just understand it and they just know what to do. And as they come along and they start engaging with us in our work environments and the places where we live, our lives have changed, and our lives are changing. Here's the thing that we need to know, though, and this is the message that we need to get across to the 20-year-olds and to the kids in the early teens, is that they're not alone. These digital natives live in a world that is cohabited by digital immigrants, like many faces that I can see out in the audience today, and also digital dinosaurs. So digital immigrants are people who know the importance of technology, and they've taken the time to learn what they need to do, but it's never something that is just natively and smoothly comfortable to them. Much like if I were to go and live in Paris, and I could be there for 10 years, learn to speak French, know Parisian culture. In 10 years' time, a native-born Parisian could come walk up to me, and in 10 seconds, he or she would know that I wasn't French. Why? Because I'd speak with an accent. And so for many of us here, we speak with an accent around digital. And we need to connect with our digital natives to help us to be effective in that space. Digital dinosaurs, you're just technophobic. The technology freaks you out, and you break out in a cold sweat, and you're just frozen in place. What we'll be looking at is you look at the different things that influence and affect these digital natives as they're coming through. A quarter-life crisis. Many of you, from a graduate recruitment perspective, will be looking and hiring these young men and women coming straight out of varsity with great results. And then they hit 28, and they resign. And they go hitchhiking naked through Tibet. Because, well, actually, I'm just not into it. And what's happening for digital natives is in their late 20s, they are hitting a life crisis that is as critical for them as the midlife crisis was for people in Generation X and the baby boomers. For us to understand that, we'll be looking at gamification. The fact that we've always used games to teach children the skills that they need to be successful adults. But the games that digital natives, that Generation Y and Generation Z are playing are different games to the games that baby boomers and Generation X has played. They learned differently and they learned different things, and we need to be more effective with them. How does that change the future world of work? And for you and your team, you can look and say, so what does this mean for our strategies? I'll be able to help you to understand what it means for your marketing, for your sales teams, for recruitment, for talent development. Basically, if you are interacting with a person under 30, whether it's in your market, whether it's in your employees, you need to understand that they don't see the world the same as you do. The digital technology they've grown up has fundamentally changed everything. Thank you.